Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I am one of the hosts this afternoon, Michael, followed by other host of the Cultured Corner, Sage.
Hi.
And welcome to this week's episode. We're probably going to talk about Dune 2, because both of us have seen it.
Yeah.
But first, I'm going to talk about the death of childhood. Anyway, Reverse Blue and Slash their company, which is what I really meant to say, Rooster Teeth, is dead. Well, at least they soon will be. As of recording this is the day after they announced that they are shutting down. And Sage, this wasn't really a part of Sage's life, but like,
I've always known of Rooster Teeth.
did you ever watch RWBY? I feel like that was something you probably would have found yourself into at some point.
I think I watched the first couple of seasons and then it went really downhill really fast and I was like, yeah, I gotta go.
I was also...
Like, I'm not passionate enough about Rooster Teeth to, like, blindly support this thing that I don't enjoy anymore.
I was also kind of part of the group that was like... Which, I've said this before. I don't remember if I've said it on the podcast. Because it's shitty to say. Because people that are working on it genuinely are doing the best they possibly could, obviously. You're not going to be doing something, like, especially for 9 seasons, if you don't genuinely love it.
Right.
So it's really shitty to say, and I hate saying it. But, like... I was one of those people, like, I could feel the difference post-Monty, and it just kind of fell off for me. And I think a big reason was not even the story. It was mostly just how much I loved the fight choreography and how it never felt like it matched to me. Mm-hmm. But again, I always feel shitty saying it, so I don't like talking about it very much. Because, again, everyone that's worked on that show, like I said, I fell off years ago. But, like... You don't work on something like that and not love it. Mm-hmm. And I have the highest of respect to anyone that will animate something of any kind at all. Because, fuck, I tried learning animation when I was younger, and it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
So, like...
Animation in general is a pretty, like, thankless career.
Yeah, so it's never to discredit anybody. It's just that's, like, there was something that I felt was missing for me and fell off from there. But it's weird. They were such like a huge part of like my like childhood to like high school and college years. Like I went to RTX for the first time in 2015, so like right after high school. Went 2 more times after that in 16 and 17. And went to different events. Went to Let's Play Live twice. Shit like that. And it was. The only time, like, it was my first convention, like, genuine convention. I went to New York Comic Con, but it was, like, the end of the day after everything already left kind of thing. Like,
right.
My friend's stepdad was, like, worked security or some shit. I don't remember. So we got in, but, like, it was already over.
Right. It wasn't, like, the con experience.
Yeah. So, like, the genuine first con experience was RTX. And I, like, engaged with that community. I don't fucking ever engage with communities. Communities suck, usually.
Yeah, that's why I always creep from a distance.
Yeah. So, and I made friends at the time. Interactions over Twitter and comments and YouTube and stuff like that. And was part of one of the 2 of the communities, like, from the area. And... It's weird. Again, like, I fell off of the Rooster Teeth entertainment sphere years ago at this point. But it's weird for even something you're not involved in anymore. You never, like, you just lost the heart for it. I don't know if that's the word. Just, like, it stopped hitting a point for you where you're, like, getting that, like, joyous laughter or something like from it, and you're like, this is still fine, but it's no longer what it was to me.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And it's just weird now that it's gone. Like, I had strived for the longest time. Like, once I realized what a video editor was, I was like, I'm gonna be a video editor for Rooster Teeth. I want to edit Let's Plays. Like, I want to go and work for Achievement Hunter. And, like, I went to school in Texas, so that way I could already be in Texas and go get a job for them because I was already there. It would be easier if I was already there for that. And, life comes and goes. I eventually, kind of fell out of that sphere, and other things came up, and I was like, you know what? It makes more sense for me to go back to New York. And I don't regret that decision at all. But it's weird that like I hadn't even thought about being like, oh, I would still love to be an editor for them. But like now that is no longer ever an option, it's weird that I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like the childhood dream I had, like I had moved on from, is now officially dead.
Yeah, it's that feeling of like something that you've wanted, but like you kind of forgot about, and then you find out like it's like not tangible.
Yeah.
In more than just like I'd have to take these steps. Like no, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's weird. Like they were super foundational for like my sense of humor. They're a big reason for why I even thought about ever doing a podcast was the amount of podcasts I used to listen to from all of them. I used to listen to like 7 different versions of all the podcasts they had.
That's a lot of podcasts.
They had an anime podcast, which was part of the reason I got into anime. The reason I watched My Hero Academia was because of their anime podcast. Like I started getting back into anime legitimately because of that podcast they hosted.
Gotcha.
Because I was like, oh right, like I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid. Like there's other shows, and it was when My Hero was there. Like My Hero was coming out, like just started coming out.
Oh, like the first season.
Yeah, literally, they were talking about. They had a guy that was like their fact checker, and he was like in this window, and they were talking about. I don't even really remember specifics, but they were talking about shows, and like he was like, "Yo, you want to see some cool shit?" And then pulled up the scene where where Deku jumps and breaks his arm hitting that fucking massive robot worth 0 points. And he's like, you see that shit? His legs and arms are fucking broken because he can't handle his power. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the fucking coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
What is this? I need to watch this.
Yeah.
And so like that was literally what got me back into anime was that podcast. And so and it didn't even last very long, which sucked because I loved it. And their set was so cool. It was designed to be the inside of a mech. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it's weird to have something that was so big in your life, and even though you haven't been a part of it, it's now gone, and it's just like a weird feeling to be like, I haven't loved you in years, but now that it's gone, I feel the sting of a heartbreak.
That's how I feel every time I think about fanfics from my youth that will never be updated.
Right.
And literally no conclusion.
Yeah. In a sense, there is some good news, quote unquote, that they had planned on working on the final season of Red vs. Blue. Which was wild when they announced that because everyone was like, oh shit, they're actually going to end it. They used to have a website that the old head of the company made, which was just is Red vs. Blue still going.com or something.
Yeah. And
it was a blank page that just said yes. Because it was like, of course it's always going to be going. It's our main fucking show. It's what we're famous for. And so it was really weird. Like it was like a thing for them to finally announce, no, we're going to make a final season. And they were bringing back all the original writers and stuff from it to work on it. And it was just going to be a legit final season. And they are going to be putting it out. And it's going to be coinciding with the end of the company, which is interesting because Red vs. Blue started before the company because they were just putting it out on the internet as a fucking dumb bit. And then Bernie was like, I should make a company. That way other people could make things too. Like for whatever. Like he didn't think it was going to go anywhere, but he was like, oh, but then I can have, if Red vs. Blue is under Rooster Teeth can do other things. And I was listening. He has a podcast that's like a 30-minute long podcast every morning. That's just that he started with his wife like a little while ago. And I listened to today's episode. I don't listen to his podcast, but like today's because he was just talking about hearing the news and his thoughts. Because he hasn't been a part of the company for like 6 years or something. And he was like, "There's a chance that Red vs. Blue technically outlives Rooster Teeth." Depending on how they release the final season. Right. And he's like, and that's a weird feeling that the thing you created started before your company and lives after your company.
Right.
which is, yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's just, again, it's something you haven't loved, but that you strangely you feel the heartbreak again. You're like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just something I wanted to touch on. It's weird, and like I find apparently I did still hold the idea of the dream to edit for them one day, and now that it's gone, it's like, well, was I ever gonna likely actually do it? Probably not. But
I
now
think there's just certain things that you yearn for that, even if it's like years after the fact, and like that's no longer like even an interest, right? But like every once in a while that yearning will come back, and you can never like satisfy that yearning now, because it's not even that you can't do it because I didn't work hard enough or anything like that. It's just not an option.
Yeah, it's just not
something
there.
that's like off the table, you know?
Yeah, it's not even up to me. It's just gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I just wanted to mention it. Because it was such a big part of my life, and the fucking multitude of ungodly numbers of posters I have from Rooster Teeth. And actually, I don't know if I have all the shirts anymore. I think I'm kind of got rid of them at some point. But all of my wardrobe, shirt-wise, was Rooster Teeth t-shirts.
Well, you should have made a quilt out of them.
At one point. Well, I outgrew most of them, and so then I just donated them. I still have. I know for a fact I saved a few because they were just like ones that like they put in a vault, and I was like, I couldn't buy these anymore anyway, so I'm gonna keep them. But yeah, and just so many posters, so many. They are all in their fucking like shipped cardboard roll, like, you know, safe things, just in a bag in my closet. Because I was like, I don't really like Rooster Teeth anymore, but I'm not going to get rid of these. Like, I paid money for them.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'll do with them. But it's just weird. You know, I used to send them. I used to do their subscription service forever. I used to do their double subscription service for a hot minute, where they used to send you like a box every month. I was a huge fan of Rooster Teeth until like, what was it? Like 6 months ago, I always was still wearing the Rooster Teeth bracelet.
I literally just noticed today that you're not wearing it.
Yeah, like 6 months ago. And that was mostly because I was like, I'm not really a fan of them anymore, but like I've never found a good bracelet to replace it, so I'm just going to keep it.
I think I do remember that like a few years ago, you were still wearing it, and I was like, do you even like watch Rooster Teeth content anymore? And you were like, no, not really. And I was like, so why do you wear that bracelet every single day? Like, why don't you just take it off? And you're like, it's just like attached, because you know that thing that's like you just wear all the time.
Yeah,
so when it's not there, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, and it took a while to get used to this one instead, and like, it is not even like I still have that bracelet just sitting in my room in case I want to swap back.
Right.
But like, and it's not even, you know, this one doesn't even fill the same itch, because the Rooster Teeth one was also like what's the word? Like the letters were sunken into it.
Like embossed?
Yeah, but isn't embossed upward?
Is it? Oh, engraved?
Sure. It was, the letters were set down a bit. So like you could always feel the texture of the letters. So like I would always like be able to put it and correct it into a certain spot.
Right.
Where this is just like
flat.
Yeah. And I wore that thing every day of my life until like maybe 6 months ago. Just because I was like, I saw a Ghost band and I was like, you know what, I can finally swap it out. But it still doesn't satisfy me the same way, because it does not satisfy my ODST, OCD, ADHD, like need to be able to play with something where I could feel it and know where I'm centering it.
Yeah. Also, embossed means carved, molded, or stamped onto a surface or object.
Okay, so then embossed is the word.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think usually engraving is like kind of similar, but like hard material you think of.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. So it's just it's odd, and I think I still like have a shirt from them in my rotation. Actually,
you should make it into a pillow.
I think it's their anime podcast shirt.
You should make it into a pillow. That's what my grandma does. Whenever she has like things that she loves, but she either can't wear it anymore or she doesn't want to wear it anymore, she turns them into pillows, and then she can keep it forever. And then it's a nice little decorative piece and a nice memory.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. Yeah, it is there. It is the anime podcast shirt.
There you go. Make it
it's
into
also
a pillow.
super comfy.
Pillows, easiest things to make in the world.
I believe you.
And you can do it by hand. Like, you don't even need a sewing machine. That's how easy these bitches are to make.
Yeah. Also, I went back. I found my RoosterCon shirt because I made that my signature shirt. Anytime I met one of them, I'd have them sign it.
Oh, cute.
So even if I met them and had them sign it prior, I just had them sign it again.
Make that into a pillow.
Well, it was also like, I don't wear it. I wore it the one time, and then I stopped wearing it because I was like, well, I can't wash it now that it's gotten signed. Because, we wash it out. So then I was like, so it's now always like kept in like a sealed thing because I'm like, I can't wash this. But because
you get it dry cleaned.
I guess I could, yeah.
I don't think that would harm it. But I don't really know understand how dry cleaning works. I've just like heard of it as a thing that you do with fancy stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
And I don't live a
Probably
fancy
should,
lifestyle,
that shirt is not very nice. Like, it's not bad, but like you can tell it's a shirt that's not been washed. It doesn't smell.
Right.
It just feels.
But it's a
feeling.
Like that thing of like clothes that you've had in like the back part of your closet.
Yeah.
And they've been sitting there untouched for like at least 5 years, and you're like, this has a smell, and it's not particularly bad, but it's definitely weird.
Yeah, it's just one of
that
those
closet smell.
Yeah. And I have so many pictures with them, like different members and stuff. I don't know. It's just.
You should make a pillow out of that. You can make a pillow out of anything.
Apparently. But yeah, I don't know. I don't mean to keep harping on it. It's weird, and again, it's a slight heartbreak that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Because I would have thought at this point, if someone was like, "Oh, they're shutting down," I'd be like, "Oh, that kind of sucks." But like, I've been out of it.
It's something that you like grow an attachment to, and I don't think like it's one of those things that, like, no matter how much time passes, like that attachment doesn't really leave you.
And it like it also kind of feels like it was kind of coming in a way. Certain stuff from the outside always seemed like odd choices. It felt like more corporate choices than like their choices kind of thing. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. That's speculation. I just but what sucks the most is that the fact that 150 plus people and contractors are now all out of the job.
Right.
Like that's what's important, is that, if you still like them and you still, all those people you remember, Barbara, fucking Michael, Gavin, whoever, whatever the fuck they go do next, like, give it a shot. I'll probably check it out. I haven't watched any of them in years, but like, I'd love to see what they do, even if it's not for me. At least, give it a watch, see.
Can they not just open up like their own company again?
I mean, I'm sure they could, but it's not that easy.
No, I know, but
but yeah, I mean, I'm sure every single person could just be, "Hey, you guys want to just start Rooster Teeth 2 Electric Boogaloo?" And all of them be like, "All right," but I don't think that'd work,
right?
But it sounds like a few of the like separate project stuff, not like the Ruby Red versus Blue things, but like some of the podcasts they did and like other different separate internet shows and some of their subsidiaries are all kind of like, we don't know exactly what's happening, but like we'll do our best to make sure the thing that you like that we make is going to somehow still exist.
Right.
So it's all seems a little up in the air at the moment. Literally, one of their subsidiaries, kind of funny, was doing a live stream that they do every morning when the news broke, and they were like,
"The fuck?"
And they were like, "Oh, shit. Well, that sucks. Look, we're probably fine. Like, we'll obviously figure this out, like, whatever. But, like, when we joined, we kind of had our things set up in a way. So, hopefully, we'll probably be fine. Like, you guys will see us tomorrow at the very least, and we'll figure it out from there."
Right.
He's like, "I'm already canceling meetings for the rest of the day to figure out what's going on." But he's like, "We're probably fine." So, like, yeah, it seems like some people are like, "Ah, no, we're done." And other people are like, "No, we're going to try to figure out how this can live somehow." But yeah, I don't know. It's just a little sad. And I am at least looking forward to, like, I was going to watch the final season of Red vs. Blue because it was by the original people and whatnot. And it just seemed like a nice way to go back and watch a finale to something that started my life so early. But now it's going to be a lot more bittersweet. because it's the end of both that and the company that's hosted it.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, go support the people that are losing their jobs because that fucking sucks. No matter who you are and how long or how short you've been somewhere, getting fired sucks.
Yeah.
Especially in the entertainment industry. So, if you genuinely care about the people that make content that you like, do your best to actually follow wherever the fuck they go and support them there, because that is how people in the industry, especially on the internet, live.
Yeah.
You don't follow people, that's how you flounder. And everyone there is I'm sure still just as talented, if not more, when I used to watch them. And like I said, I haven't watched them in years, but I'd probably check out what they're going to be doing just to see what they go on to do. And so if you genuinely like shit that was coming out of Rooster Teeth or any of their subsidiaries, make sure to follow those people to whatever their next journey is. That's what's most important in this kind of internet entertainment industry. Because, you live and die by the fans. So if you genuinely care, you got to follow the people. And that's the end of the conversation. Now we're going to talk about Dune.
Part 2.
Worm. Big worm.
Lots of big worms.
Hey, spoilers for Dune 2, I assume.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was.
Go watch it.
It was really good.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. I will say, because I feel like I remember after I watched the Dune Part 1, I was like...
Yeah, I watched it on Friday and then watched Part 2 on Sunday.
Oh, I watched Part 1 when it first came out in theaters, and I was like, yeah, great. Who cares? Because my whole thing about Part 1, here's the thing.
It feels like a Part 1.
Personally, I actually don't even mind that it feels like a Part 1.
Yeah.
Because, like, I didn't even have that problem with Across the Spider-Verse, where...
But some movies do Part 1s better than others.
Right. But I'm saying, like...
Spider-Verse did a good job at being a Part 1.
They did a good job, obviously, but my main problem really wasn't that it felt like a Part 1. It was the whole time I was like, okay, I literally don't give a single shit about Paul, and he's the literal main character. And Paul is just fucking here.
Uh-huh.
Like... Timothy Chalamet should be getting snapped in half like the twig he is. No shade, but hello, why do I care about Paul? Everybody else is more interesting than Paul.
Paul's pretty interesting.
That's how it felt coming out of Part 1.
I know.
Because I was like, okay, fine. The movie looked great. I'm upset that Zendaya wasn't on the screen longer. Where is Zendaya? Why was I promised Zendaya and then I got cheated?
The amount of people that were annoyed about that.
You know what I mean? But anyway... So that's how I felt coming out of Part 1. And I was like, okay, great. Fine. Who cares? Awesome. Looks great. The Baron is creepy as shit.
Sure is.
I like that they commit to killing off characters. Like, nice.
Yeah.
Character deaths that are, like, permanent.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like that is not a thing that exists in current media.
Yeah, which is funny because in the book, there's one character in specific that does not have ever have permanent deaths.
But yeah, so also Jason Momoa in the first movie, I was just like, yes, but also Duncan Idaho is the funniest fucking name I've ever heard in my life. I don't know why, but I could not take this man seriously.
Yeah, and you could take Paul Atreides seriously.
Okay, and that's the other thing. That was the other thing. I was like, Paul is the most fucking white bread name I ever heard. But then I gave myself 2 seconds to think about it because I was like, okay, but the other major space opera, which is Star Wars, that main guy is named Luke, which is also an incredibly white bread name, so I really can't be complaining about
but
Paul.
Somehow Paul feels worse than
Paul
Luke.
absolutely does feel worse, but going into Part 2, I was like, okay, I know I've been flaming Paul this entire time, and he's the main character and who I should care about the most. I'm going to give him another chance, and I'm so glad I did because holy shit, Paul is so much better in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
This movie and Part 1.
I would like to specify for the record, I don't think Part 1's a bad movie.
Oh,
I
no,
was
me
just
neither.
assuming that Sage was going to say it felt like a Part 1. The only reason on my Letterboxd I gave it a 4.5, and the only reason I didn't give it a 5 is because I was like, this movie's great on so many levels, but it does not have a very satisfying ending.
Right.
And I was like, because it feels like you just kind of cut a movie in half.
Right.
And so I was like,
But
that sucks a little.
honestly, I'm of the opinion where I think if it takes you almost 5 going on 6 hours of runtime to properly tell me a story and then I feel satisfied by the end, take as much fucking time as you want. Make it part 1 and 2. I personally don't care because...
Give me one movie with intermission. 6 hours. Give me
a
a 30-minute intermission.
Give me a fucking 6-hour movie. I will sit my butt down in that movie theater. You just give me a bathroom break or maybe 2 and we'll be fine. Right?
Bring back intermissions.
So... Part 1, the only problem is I really did not care about Paul at all.
Right.
Which felt weird to me because I was like, I know Paul is the main guy.
That's fine. Just care about Rebecca Ferguson instead.
You know, exactly. But then she gets she's doing way too much in part 2.
She really drank the Kool-Aid.
Like, that's exactly what I said to Mark. I was like, this bitch really was out here drinking the Kool-Aid and she was doing way too much.
Well, it doesn't help that the fucking fetus within her is also drank the Kool-Aid and can now talk to her.
No, but wasn't the fetus talking to her before anyway?
I don't think so until after.
No, I thought the whole time she was.
I didn't think it was like a real conversation until after.
Oh, you think it was just like a feeling?
That she was just being like, oh, like she
likes blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's how I took. That might be entirely wrong, but that's how I took it. I'm gonna rewatch it, so maybe I'll.
I took it that like she
it.
was just having whole ass convos with this fetus.
I thought it was the drink that made the
oh
baby,
no,
legitimately like conscious. Imagine being conscious as a fucking embryo.
Yo, but I remember thinking this too because
a zygote.
Because I think the beginning of the movie, we see where he's like talking about the fact that she's pregnant, and we see like that very early stage, maybe like 6-8 weeks into a pregnancy, and I was like, why are you showing me this fucking 3D shot?
It was pretty
of
good,
like,
though.
Like it looked good, but I was like, I don't want to be seeing all that.
Is it because you hate children?
It's not that I hate children. I just think pregnancy and babies sounds horrible. Why would you put yourself through that? Like, I get it. Some people, I
was like, I get to have a nephew in like 2-3 weeks. I'm pretty hyped about it.
Good for you. But yeah, so I was like, I don't need to be seeing this like 3D rendered fetus. It's just weird. Why do I keep seeing this on the screen? But like, yeah, she was involved in the story, so I guess that made sense.
Yeah.
I guess.
Shout out to Anya Taylor-Joy. As Kieran likes to say, a praying mantis in a skin suit.
Anyway.
He thinks her eyes are too wide apart.
They are very wide apart. But I kind of like that. I like that she looks like an alien.
She's very hot, regardless.
It makes me think of, did you ever watch the movie Splice?
No.
Okay. Who cares? But anyway, the main, like, demon baby in Splice. When it matures and turns into an adult, also has, like, super wide eyes, like wide apart, and looks like an alien. And for the longest time, I thought that was Anya Taylor-Joy playing that part, but it's not, because she would have been too young anyway. But anyway,
okay.
But yeah,
I now see what you're talking about.
Exactly. But yeah, this movie, I feel like I just cared so much more, and I think if I didn't have the first movie, I wouldn't care, if that makes sense. Like, all the first movie for me was like, here's all the necessary boring setup, and then here's the payoff. Also, Austin Butler, I don't think I've seen him act in anything recently, just when he was on like either Nickelodeon or Disney Channel. I don't remember which he was like had an allegiance with, if you will. So I only knew him from like his child actor days, and then I heard about all the nonsense about like him and the Elvis movie. Who cares?
Yeah, that he can't lose the accent.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah, I don't care, and I don't care about Elvis, so I'm not gonna watch this movie.
Okay.
What can I say? So I was like, okay, Austin Butler, he's a handsome man. Also, him looking like a bald, hairless weirdo, I was here for it. I don't know if that's the wrong opinion, but it was a cute look.
That is a weird opinion.
And I
was expecting you to just be like, it looked fine.
No, I liked it.
But
I was here for it.
Yeah, that do something for you?
It was, and I really liked the like black inside of the mouth. Like that was a good look. A nice contrast. The super black.
I'll let Mark know next time we talk.
The super like black lenses in the eyes, so it's like there's no color at all. Great choice. Like he looks the best in the creepy bald hairless clan.
Okay.
Probably because he's Austin Butler, so he's attractive to begin with.
Because you can't make me do anything. Bene Gesserit shows shoulder. Okay, well hold on, maybe you can.
He's like, all right, you convinced me. But yeah, also this movie just looked so fucking good.
Oh,
and
gorgeous.
Minus a couple of scenes, I will say I didn't think this movie was too aggressively loud, which I really appreciate. Because in movie theaters, I don't know why they feel the need to do this, but you either have extremely quiet scenes where you feel like you can't hear a single word anyone is saying.
That's not a movie theater thing. That's a sound mixing thing.
But you know what I mean? Or it's so incredibly loud, you feel like you're going to have a heart attack just from how much volume you're hearing.
There was a period of time where me and Kieran went to go see like 2 horror movies, and it was like back to back, where we jumped not because of the scare or what this or not even because there was a scare on screen. We jumped from like the girl screaming, and it was because it was so suddenly loud. Both of us just went, holy shit. Like it was just insane. And then we had one where it happened during a trailer too, because it was like, again, it was just so loud out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We were like, what the fuck is happening? But yeah, that's a sound mixing thing, and sound mixing has been what feels like a fucking dying art in the movie industry, because my God, the amount of times you're like, what the fuck is this person saying? Or like, Jesus Christ, turn it down.
That's why I feel like I have to watch everything with captions. Honestly, I feel like I should have watched this movie with captions on, because a lot of times, for some reason, I guess they just chose to do like certain translations because maybe like certain words were just not important for us to hear translated when they're speaking the
I think sometimes it's just like
whatever.
It doesn't matter. Like you just don't you don't need to know.
Yeah. Whatever like dialect they were speaking, but sometimes even like the English words, I was like, I can't understand anything you're saying.
Right.
Speak up.
Yeah.
For the people in the back. I know it's a movie, but for the people in the back.
For the people in the back. Yeah. I mean, I loved this movie.
Yeah, it was really also that ending shot with Zendaya. I was like, "Ooh, she is mad."
Well,
I was like,
when you can't see 30 billion possible futures, and
I know.
thus you're the guy you love is like, I will love you till I can no longer breathe.
Yeah.
Turns around and goes, you have to marry me.
Yeah. I was like,
I'd be pretty annoyed.
I was like, this. I was surprised. I was surprised she didn't just snap him in half then and there.
Because she couldn't.
I know, but I was just like, damn.
Yeah. No, now you argue that she knows that he's seeing shit, and then he tells her right before he does it. Would you not then be like, I should have faith in him, the fact that like he's doing all this because he has to? Like he constantly was like, I shouldn't go to the South. If I go to the South, I'm fucked. Like I'm not gonna be me. And then she's like, you have to. And he's like, okay.
Even if she knows, like, would you not be annoyed if your life partner was like, I am faithful only to you until my dying breath, and then literally 1 second later is like,
well, but what I mean
yo,
is,
bitch, come take my hand in marriage.
The context of everything else prior, that like he is over and over and over again, seemingly like daily for the weeks that they're doing this fucking campaign on the North, and his mom's in the South, being like, I can't go to the South, I can't do it, I shouldn't, I see people dying, because I lead and it's a bad thing, and she's like, it's fine, but we gotta go. And now that he finally does, everything that he said was going to happen is now happening. Like, he's talked about the fact that he sees things and he's gonna lead to a bad thing, and like she's like, oh, as long as you're always like, what was it? What did he say? Like, as long as he like is still like sincere or whatever, like as long as he's still him.
Yeah.
And like he can't be, is what he's been telling her. Once he goes south, I can't.
Right.
And
I think a part of all of that is one, because she does not seem like she's a believer throughout this entire movie. She's just like, y'all were fucking doing.
She absolutely isn't.
Way too much. This guy, really?
Yeah.
Paul. Really? Right? So she's like, Paul ain't gonna do shit, all right? That's her the whole movie. And then when she sees shit happening, she's like, the fuck?
Yeah. When he stands up and is just like, anyway, I am your god. Fucking.
Yeah, she's so shook. She was like, who is this man?
Like, I don't have to listen to any of you. I don't need to be a fucking member of this thing. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I am your god. I know everything about you all.
Yeah.
And then, he does the fight for the fucking crown. The amount of times that man walks out of a fucking sandstorm. The amount of times.
Yeah.
They loved that shot. But it's just the movie's like on another level of gorgeous.
The worm riding so, and you know what I think is interesting, because they have a lot of sandstorm scenes. But I don't know if I'm just stupid, and I don't know how, obviously I really don't know how movies are made, but I was so impressed with how much when they want you to see stuff, you can see stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, certain times you'll have those kind of effects on screen and they're so messy, you can't see anything that's happening.
Right.
Like, they did such a great job balancing that.
Yeah.
So like, the picture is still legible, but it's also conveying this, like, whipping up storm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's funny because apparently in the books, it never actually describes how I'm spacing on what they're called. The people that live on Dune.
Oh.
On Arrakis.
Zendaya's gang?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called. Fremen, thank you.
They never actually explains
Zendaya's
how the Fremen get on the sandworms. So he invented that part. But it's funny because they show how you get on. I'm sitting here the whole time being like, how the fuck do you get off?
Yo, same Z's. The whole time they were riding these sandworms, I'm like, what do you just park it? Like,
because they seem like they don't stop.
Or you're just like coordinated jumping off.
It's got to be coordinated jumping, but
also I'm like, do
like,
you see the pace?
Well,
I'm not jumping off.
I'm thinking more like you're not getting far enough away for how long it is that you're not going to fall back into it and get like run over. Yes. That's my thinking. So I'm like, how the fuck are you getting off? Yeah. So that's always been my thought, unless like maybe it starts burrowing down and you jump out.
Oh, maybe because they do go underground.
Right. So maybe it just goes down. Like
and then you're just like, okay, now I'm
down.
Like getting level. So it's not as far of a jump. So you're just like, wee.
So maybe. But that was my thinking the whole time. I was like, oh, he created how you get on, but I'm here sitting being like, how the fuck are they all getting off?
You bring it to like the sandworm parking lot, valet.
Yeah, they just have like overhead terminals, like metal junctions that like it's just the height, and you all just have to jump off. And
it's like a ski lift, but for getting off instead of getting on.
You just grab the line and it pulls you sideways off the worm.
That would be smart.
It would. That actually, But
I don't think the Fremen have that kind of infrastructure. So
no. Maybe they just have like ropes set up, and it's like you just grab the rope, and then you all have to like get out of the way.
Also, when they took Paul and his mom to like their clubhouse, I don't know what you call it, lair,
where they live.
Yeah,
their home,
their domain,
their home. One might say.
Because at first in the first movie, I was
their
like,
city.
In the first movie, I was like, do they not live anywhere? Like, I'm so confused because they don't show it in the first one. So I was like, maybe they're just nomads, like, because the desert seems pretty unforgiving. So like, how do you just stay in one spot? Mm-hmm. But then when they showed their mountain thing, when they showed and they were like, oh, we would never drink this water, it's like sacred water, I was like, I just know that water's getting fucked up. Someone's either fallen into it, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's getting destroyed, something's happening. This water is not lasting the rest of this movie. Mm-hmm. And I was right.
Yeah. Also, you know that everything in Dune is humans, right?
Is humans?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
There are no aliens. Like, I mean, obviously besides like the worms and shit, like the animal inhabitants. But like every person humanoid is a human. It's just been so long that all like different humans on different planets have just evolved to the different planets, but they are all human.
No, I assumed they were all human.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I never thought they like any of them
You
were
assumed
aliens.
the pure white people were humans?
Yeah, I just was like, damn, you guys really need some sun.
Oh, all right.
Because like in the first movie, the only like white people we see is Dave Bautista, and he's just kind of like sad and nervous and frowning. And then the Baron, who's just weird and lumpy and taking oil baths.
I just
and he's never outside, so I was like, maybe you guys just don't get a lot of vitamin D. I don't know.
Well, yeah, no, their planet's just all pure blackness.
Well, but
yeah.
you know what I mean? So I was like, you guys just haven't had a tan in a long time.
Right.
But I never assumed, because the thing is, like, even with the Baron, because I think I had asked Mark, I was like, wait, how does he, like, because you know how you see, like, his, like, tubing and flotation device?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what's that for? And he was like, oh, he's paralyzed, so he needs it to like move around. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's just advanced technology, because it is also like 10,000 years of the future.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in this movie, I thought it was really funny when the Emperor, he's like coming down with his spaceship. I was like, it's a disco ball, because it was so shiny.
Right. Yeah, the final act of this movie was something else.
Holy shit.
It was one of the greatest final acts I think I have seen in a very, very long time. It was awesome. Like, visually, the effects looked fantastic. The, like, entire plan, the acting out on it, like, everything that was happening was so cool. And one of the, like, cleanest knife fights I've also seen in a while. It wasn't super flary. It was just, like, it gave some close-ups, but there were a lot of, like, wider shots, and it didn't cut a lot. And the choreography for it was really clean.
I also liked it was that final few scenes, especially like during the knife fight and like the confrontation with the Emperor, was so
When Paul just slams his foot down when he has his hand out.
Mm-hmm.
He's just holding it there, and the Emperor's just staring at him, and he fucking slams his foot like, fucking now.
So what I was going to say is, it's so quiet. Like, you know how sometimes if a movie is not that great, like, you don't notice music or no music?
Right.
Because you're just like, who fucking cares?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because nothing feels like an act of choice, right? But in these final scenes, like, the lack of any other sound except for like their talking or like the knife fighting or the slamming of the foot, the whole like the tension that created to not have any other sound happening, I was just like, oh, I don't like this. Like, things are happening. You know what I mean? Well, great choice, because they could have so easily put like mood music in, you know?
Yeah. No, Hans Zimmer went off on this soundtrack.
This, I honestly forgot how good the music is. Because in the first movie, this was another like takeaway I had when I first watched it, where I was like, visually, this movie is a fucking like 12 out of 10. It's just so stunningly beautiful to look at. Like, the color grading, the color palettes that they went with, like, just the artistic direction, like, everything is so fucking gorgeous that it's like every shot could be a poster.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good this movie looks. And then the music, it just perfectly, I don't even know how to describe it, because it is this world. Mm-hmm. Like, the music that they made for it, it fits in perfectly with this world that we're on.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't even know how you can like translate an idea into music that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
It's I don't know how many people would get this, but I'm like, I really like Pink Floyd's. This is where this is coming from. The woman that's doing like the like vocalizations in the movie gives me very much the same vibe as Great Gig in the Sky on Dark Side, where it's just like, I imagine that when they were instructing the woman on what to do, they were like, we don't want words,
Right.
We just want you to use your voice as an instrument.
Yeah.
Go.
It's kind of like throat singing, but not.
Yeah. Which is the same bit of that's that's what they told the woman in Great King in the Sky was like she was doing like improv words or like and they were like no like just
Sounds.
vocal noise
Yeah.
just go. And so I imagine like it gives me the same vibe because it's just like you hear that voice and you're just like oh fuck like this is the shit. And it gives me the exact same vibe as Great Gig in the Sky.
Also, I don't know if this
Obviously on a much grander
I
scale.
think I've saw like some tweets about people being like,
Don't you mean posts, Sage? X's?
I saw some tweets, and this was also relevant during part 1 where people were like, after the movie came out, and people were like, "Oh, I'll just watch it on like HBO Max or whatever." And
Doing
then
such a disservice.
and
to that
then
movie.
theater people, like movie theater buffs, were like, "No, you have to see it in theaters because it's a different experience." And like I've always been the kind of person where because I'm not like obsessed with filmmaking, for me, a lot of that like feeling of being in a movie theater is almost lost on me because I'm not like that invested, if that makes sense.
Right.
Even if it's a franchise or project I really am into, the theater experience is not really important for me. But Dune is one of the few movies where I could make that argument that watching this in a movie theater is the better experience. Because when I watched part 1 before this one, just to give myself a recap, because I was like, I don't even fucking remember what happened in part 1. I watched it on my TV at home, and even though I have like a nice TV and a sound bar, not nearly the same. Like some of the shots and music are just so overwhelming.
Yeah. Like when I rewatched
Like,
Dune 1 on my TV, good experience. I have a very nice TV.
Yeah.
But like it's not the same experience.
It's not that full body, like you feel it in your chest feeling, that you get being in a movie theater. Also, I think what was great for me personally, because I hate going to the movies and having other people there, in our movie theater there was only like maximum 2 or 3 other groups there.
I'm surprised. I mean, we went to IMAX and
It was like groups of
packed.
2 people. Well,
the IMAX at AMC fucking sucks because it's one of the ones that's like sardine.
Yeah, but the one I went on a Tuesday night, and I went at like 6 p.m. so like right after work, which was perfect timing for me. But so there was like nobody there.
Yeah, we went Sunday at 5.
Yeah. So
it was that or 8 to be fair. And
yeah,
I was not doing
8 was gonna, and it's a 3-hour movie. Absolutely the fuck not.
Not doing that one.
But yeah, so that also just being like basically alone in that space, it was excellent. It was great. Like, I think that's the best way to watch a movie. If you can be in a movie theater by yourself.
Oh, I mean, there's 2 types of movie theater experiences I love. In a movie with a good crowd.
Yeah.
Or alone.
Yeah.
Like, there's no in between. Because if the crowd's not good, and good can either be they are loud in moments that are fine to be loud in, or they're always quiet. Those are the 2 sides of a good crowd. Like Marvel movie, like, fucking Cap grabbing the fucking Mjolnir and everyone going like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great moment to be in that crowd. Or when you're watching a movie and nobody fucking says anything because you hate when people are just talking. Like, that's another good crowd. Or being alone so you can have your own personal commentary if you want that while in the movie.
Yeah. I think, like, I've had so many movie experiences where I don't know how this happens, but I am always happen to be just within, like, let's say, like, 3-seat radius of somebody who's just annoying as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember, I think it was when I went to go see Birds of Prey in theaters, and literally the girl right behind me talked the entire time. And this was the only bitch talking. It's not like everyone was like hooting and hollering. during the movie,
Right.
being like, yes, Margot Robbie, my queen.
I'm surprised you didn't tell her to fuck off.
Well, I am a non-confrontational person.
You are, but you aren't.
Not to strangers. You don't know who's going to stab you. You know, why am I going to take that chance over a movie theater? Like, I personally do not care enough.
Or like, I don't know, that you didn't like go tell somebody.
Who am I going to tell? This adult woman is being inconsiderate.
Yeah, that's
Who cares?
That's what movie theater personnel are for. Eamon went and did that when he was like, these people were talking like the first like 30 minutes. He was like, fuck it, and got up and went and walked over to the people, and they're like, yeah, these people won't shut up, and they're also jumping around like, and they were like, all right, and they kicked him out.
Yeah, but anyway, she talked the entire movie, and it wasn't even like she wasn't talking about the movie. Things would happen on the screen, and then she would ask a question about what just happened. It was infuriating, but I did feel kind of bad because I was like, okay, this girl, I think, might not be the brightest bulb in the lineup.
Uh-huh.
And I do feel bad if that's the case. But if it's not, you have literally no excuse because you're a grown adult.
I saw this video. It was a TikTok the other day, and it was this guy being like, enjoy this fight of my mom and sister. And it was the sister going, I am 25 years old. And the mom going, I know, that's the problem. You are 25 years old and don't know a single other country.
Oh my God.
And the daughter was like being like, you don't need to tell me what the fuck I need to know. And
Out
she's
of like the United States?
yeah. And it was like, because
Not even Canada? Mexico?
she was like, you're going to have fucking kids and be this stupid?
Yo.
And she's like, you can't tell. What the fuck do I need to know other countries for? It was
Yo,
a
when
whole
I tell
thing.
you some people should not have children, even if they want them,
25 years old, doesn't know one.
I can say
country.
with confidence that I am pretty shit at geography. I at least know more than one country.
I could name at least 20.
Like, holy
At
shit.
least.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Dune.
Yeah, I'd say I could probably name at least 20.
Back
I was thinking about it. I was like, could I? And I was like, no, I think I could.
back to Dune. I think I was surprised. I actually forgot. I thought Josh Brolin died in the first movie.
Nope, we just didn't see him. We didn't see what happened.
I
to him.
couldn't remember. So I was like, oh, damn, this bitch is back from the dead. But then I thought about it some more. I was like, oh, no, I think it was like cut like off screen. So it was like not sure. You know what I mean? Also, the Bene Gesserits.
The Bene Gesserits.
Bene Gesserits. I keep getting it wrong.
I'm at least at 40, so I'm pretty good. All
I'm
right.
so happy for you. I kept forgetting what they were called, so I was talking to
The
Mark.
Bene Gesserits.
I was talking to, well,
Benny and the Gesserits.
if you think that's bad, I was talking to Mark about it, and I was like, what are they called? The Jezebels?
Jesus Christ.
It was just the closest thing to like what I could describe it as in terms of like sound.
You're like, my dad does that, but like, because like, he doesn't care, but also like, even if he does know it, he'll just purposely say it wrong to the point of like, oh, the fucking Jezebels. And you're like, fuck that. You know what they're called. And he's like, ah.
No, there's certain things where like if I don't know how to pronounce something or I don't know what it's called, I will just go to the closest word that I think sounds like it.
Right.
So when we were talking about the movie after we saw it and we were talking about Anya Taylor-Joy and like what her role was and why like Paul's mom wasn't supposed to have a son because they couldn't be like the thing. And I was like, what was it called again? The Quasimodo. And Mark and I just kept calling it that. So now I really don't know what it's called. And in my brain, it's just Quasimodo. I know that's wrong. I know. I'm problematic.
Anyway. Dune 2 rocked.
Dune 2 was really good.
I'm very excited
I did,
for Dune Messiah or whatever they call it.
I think that's what it's being called.
The third book is, well, the second book.
I was going to say, because this was part.
Yeah.
So were they doing the second book in one movie as well? Or they're going to split it up?
Well, apparently, according to Anthony, Dune Messiah is a much shorter book.
Oh, okay.
So probably can just be one movie.
Gotcha.
I think he's only doing 3. So yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I mean,
I thought Dune was like.
Dune, there's a lot of books, but the main books,
main plot.
are Dune and Dune Messiah.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was like.
According to Anthony, I've
thought
never read them. I don't know.
I thought the
about
books was a trilogy. That's why I was asking.
So, no, they're apparently like the two like main ones, at least involving Paul.
Gotcha.
Are Dune and Dune Messiah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But there's a lot of differences between them. Like in the books, Anya Taylor-Joy's character is like already born. Like they're already alive. Like they've been alive for a while. Like they're like
during
a
Dune.
few years younger than Paul.
During Dune.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like only a few years younger than Paul. So there's a lot of like differences already that have like kind of happened.
Right.
Which, we'll have to see where that all leads because again, having a whole character not even born yet versus like 14.
Also, I don't know if this is going to be in the next movie, but I realized this like yesterday while I was just thinking about this movie. And I was like, wait, what happened to that fucking bitch that went to go seduce Austin Butler? And she was pregante with his baby.
She's still around.
She just like fucked off. Where'd she go?
She wasn't. She brought it up to the
head
of the Bene Gesserit, and she was like, all right, cool. And then the Bene Gesserit went to go.
Does the head lady still get to be the head lady if she just got fucked up by Paul with a power he's not even supposed to have?
No, I'm pretty sure. I think she acknowledges that Paul's mom is the new head. Doesn't she call her whatever the fuck the word
Mother
was?
Reverend?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if there could
be.
I didn't know if there could be multiple.
I don't think
so.
so.
I didn't take it like that.
I don't really. I took it as that. I could be wrong. That's how I took it.
Because I thought she was addressing her as Mother Reverend, as like this is like your clan of like
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
disciples, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know. I took it as her giving it.
Because like
to her,
multiple
I could be wrong.
people could be like a father.
Yeah, no,
you know.
I don't know. I could be wrong. That's
Right.
how I took it.
Yeah, I don't actually know. That's
Yeah,
just,
I don't either.
That's the other thing because I think
I feel like there are so many things about this world that I still don't understand.
I think I would be interested in reading the book because one, now I like a lot of times, even if I read the book before I see a movie, when I'm like picturing the characters in my head, one, they're never even close to what I picture like on the screen.
Right.
But then once I see like even like images of being like, oh, they're making a movie and this is the cast, that's who I immediately picture in my head afterwards.
Yeah, it's like actually, is this an accurate description? Actually, I don't think it is. I was gonna say like the voices for comic characters when I read them.
Yeah.
Where, it might not necessarily have a voice until you listen to someone. Like Jason Todd in my brain is always Jensen Ackles from him voicing him in the animated movie.
Yeah.
Or Batman's always Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, funny enough, always the 90s cartoon Spider-Man. the shocker, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. That one, that guy. I'm always picturing that guy. It's either that or Andrew Garfield. But it's usually the 90s. Chris Evans is usually my voice for Cap. Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man, shit like that. So
it's always funny, like whenever I'm reading, if I'm reading a book and I like, especially if it's something that hasn't been adapted and then it does get adapted, because I have like this own voice that I think it's going to be, sometimes when the voices are not even close to what I like made up in my brain, I'm like, why the fuck do you sound like that? Like I get genuinely shocked.
Like imagining somebody has like this deep, dark, and voice,
yeah.
and then they're like, "Hi."
Yeah, like regular guy voice. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, just like you're reading something and it's like and then dark wings swung from the thing. It was like, "You there, stop!"
Yeah,
and you're like, and then you see the scene in the trailer and it's like, "You there, stop!" And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You sounded so much more intimidating in my brain.
Oh, I don't know if I told you, but I finished watching Lord of the Rings.
You did not, but we also have 1 minute left.
Yeah, 1 minute left. Lord of the Rings was extremely satisfying. 10 out of 10 experience. Will not probably do it again because that was 12 hours of movie.
Yeah, it's awesome.
holy shit, it was a lot to go through. And
it's
then
awesome.
the ending was extremely satisfying, except the ending. I was like, damn, can we wrap this shit up?
Look, to be fair, there's a lot of shit to wrap up.
There is, but I was just like, I would have been happy if they were like, okay, Aragon, you're the king. Here's your hot bitch elf wife. We're gonna bow to the hobbits because really y'all saved us. Although if Sam was not fucking there,
Oh yeah, Sam's
y'all
the
would
real
be
hero.
so fucking dead.
So you know how I was saying that Legolas has one line to Frodo, and it's really by proxy of him saying, "You have my bow."
right?
And I was like, "I'll tell you something later when you finish it."
Oh,
The bit where everyone's coming into the room one by one in slow mo.
oh yeah,
And-
that was so funny.
And he said, you see him mouth all the people, and then Legolas steps in, and he just goes, like he doesn't know Legolas's name.
That shit. Okay, so that like him in the bed. At first, I was like, "Wait, is this just a dream?" And he's like dead, because it's filmed with this like soft like filter, like
Yeah.
angelic filter and stuff.
But no, it's just super happy.
Right, it's just super happy. But at first, I was like, "Why is this so fucking goofy?"
Yeah, but it's like a joke in the community that Frodo doesn't actually know Legolas's name because he mouths every single person's
Yeah.
name except for Legolas.
Yeah.
When he turns into the door and he's like,
Yeah,
it's the guy.
it's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's really funny.
But yeah, that's my review on Lord of the Rings. Very
We can
good.
talk about it more in
10 out of 10
another
experience.
episode. I like
Where I
how you
have
bring
more-
that up at the last minute.
I just remembered it. That's why I brought it up.
Just
Next episode, we'll talk about Lord of the Rings.
Did Mark do the thing where he was like, "Oh, in this scene, Viggo Mortensen broke 2 toes kicking the helmet"?
No, but I did see a bunch of like.
That's the one job of anyone that's watched the movie before and is watching it with someone else.
Oh,
It's like a bit.
Mark doesn't know a lot of like.
It's like
tidbits.
It's a bit in the community that like everyone that knows
I
anything
know.
is like.
He knows lore for things he's invested in within the context of the story, and he only knows tidbits if he's extremely invested, which
Gotcha.
never happens. Also, he did not fall asleep during Dune Part 2. So proud of him.
I would hope not. Anyway,
This bitch will literally fall asleep through anything.
thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, review, like, follow. Check out Cat at Cat the Moonstar on Twitch. You have 4 weeks to watch 44 episodes of One Piece, specifically episode 1 through 44.
Yeah, we're watching the 4Kids version.
No, we're not. Don't do that to yourself. I don't even know how far that got. I think it did get to Alabasta, so it would have covered this. But don't do that. Watch the intro once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times.
Oh, the rap?
Yeah, and then move on. But anyway, yeah, 1 through 44, beginning of the show to the end of our long park is what we're covering. This is our long one, my long pick, and then a rotation will go around, and then the next time Sage comes up, she'll have her long pick, which God will be something, I'm sure. Can't be Monster though.
I know.
It's too long.
I've been vetoed because it's 70 episodes.
Yep, sure is.
But it's so fucking good.
One day I'll watch Monster.
You should. They have the sub on Netflix.
Yeah, because I hear the dub is awful.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which is, yeah, be a lot.
But the sub is so dense that I'm just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it'd be a lot to watch in a month. That's more. That's twice. That'd be at least 2 episodes a day.
Yeah,
So
it's dense.
yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. We will see you guys next week for whatever it is we talk about.
Bye.
Bye.